than being alone in a place you thought was safe. These three people learned that the hard way. These stories are real. The people who lived them wish they weren't. This is Mr. Fantix. I was 17 at the time. My parents had gone to my aunt's place for the weekend, about 3 hours away. My older brother was supposed to stay with me, but he bailed last minute, something about a concert with his friends. So it was just me, alone in our house for the first time. I wasn't scared or anything. I was actually kind of excited. I ordered a large pizza, put on a movie, I think it was the second John Wick, and just spread out on the couch like I owned the place. This was a Friday night in late October. Around 9, maybe 9:30. The house we lived in was in a quiet suburb. Pretty standard neighborhood. Attached garage on the left side, backyard with a wooden fence, sliding glass door that led to the patio. My dad always said that sliding door was the weakest point in the house. He'd been meaning to put a security bar on it for years. He never did. Around 10, I paused the movie to grab a drink from the kitchen. The kitchen faced the backyard. The sliding door was directly across from the fridge. I wasn't really looking at it. I just grabbed my drink and started walking back. But something made me glance over. The door was unlocked. I was pretty sure I hadn't touched it all day. We basically never used that door in October, too cold to go out back. I told myself maybe my mom had left it unlocked before she left. Walked over, clicked the lock, and went back to my movie. Didn't think much more about it. I fell asleep on the couch somewhere around midnight. I woke up to a sound. It wasn't loud. It was actually very quiet, like something brushing against a surface. Almost like fabric on wood. Coming from the kitchen. I lay there completely still, telling myself it was probably just the house settling. Old houses do that. Ours was built in the 80s. But then I heard it again. This time closer. Like it had moved. I sat up slowly. The TV had gone to the screensaver. The room was mostly dark except for that dim blue glow. I grabbed my phone off the cushion next to me. No new messages. I think it was around 1:40 in the morning. I just sat there listening. Nothing for maybe 2 minutes. Then I heard it again. This time I was sure it was footsteps. Slow ones. On the hardwood floor just around the corner. I didn't think. I just bolted. Straight to the front door, out into the driveway, barefoot in October. I called 911 from across the street at my neighbor's porch, crouched behind their car. 2 officers arrived in maybe 6 minutes. They cleared the house room by room. In my parents' bedroom on the second floor, the closet door was open. My mom's closet. She always kept it shut. The officers said it had been disturbed, clothes pushed to one side. Like someone had been standing in there. They never found anyone. No sign of forced entry except that the sliding door's locking mechanism showed scratch marks consistent with it being manipulated from outside. My dad put the security bar on that door the very next day. But honestly, every time I sleep in that house now, I check that closet before I go to bed. Every single time. This happened when I was in college, sophomore year. I was living in a small off-campus apartment, just a one-bedroom place above a laundromat on 4th Street. My roommate, a guy named Derek, had gone home for Thanksgiving break. I stayed back because I had a paper due Monday and I figured I'd just get it done over the long weekend. The first 2 days were completely uneventful. I ate bad food, worked on my paper, watched YouTube. The kind of quiet weekend where nothing happens and you're fine with that. Sunday night I was in bed, probably around 11. My phone buzzed. I assumed it was my mom or maybe Derek, but it was a voicemail. From an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but I was already awake so I played it. It was about 45 seconds long. No words. Just breathing. Slow and even. and underneath it very faint what sounded like the laundromat machines from downstairs. That sound was specific. You could only hear those machines clearly from one place. The hallway just outside my apartment door. I sat up. Whoever had sent that voicemail had been standing right outside my door while I was asleep. Maybe still was. I didn't move for probably 2 full minutes. Just sat in the dark listening. I couldn't hear anything now. No footsteps, no breathing, nothing. Just the faint hum of machines 2 floors down. I texted my friend Kayla who lived 4 blocks away. I told her what happened. She told me to call the front desk of the building, which I did. The night manager, an older guy named Ron, said he'd do a walkthrough. About 10 minutes later he knocked on my door. He said the hallway was empty. No one in the stairwell, no one in the lobby who shouldn't be there. He seemed pretty unbothered about it. Told me it was probably a wrong number or a prank. I tried to believe that. But the next morning, when I went to leave for coffee, there was a small muddy boot print on the welcome mat outside my door. Just one. Facing toward the door. I never found out who called. The number was traced to a prepaid phone that was apparently never used again after that night. I moved out at the end of that semester. I still don't save unknown voicemails anymore. I just delete them and keep moving. I need to preface this by saying I'd lived in my apartment for almost 3 years before this happened. It was a quiet building. 6 units, mostly older tenants, very low turnover. I knew most of my neighbors by face, a couple by name. One of them was a woman named Patricia who lived directly across the hall. 50s, kept to herself, always nodded when we passed. That was the extent of it. This was during a period when I was working from home. My girlfriend was traveling for work for 2 weeks, so I was alone in the apartment Monday through Friday. Pretty normal setup. About a week into that stretch, I noticed something. I'd come out of the bathroom in the morning, glance at the front door, and think the lock looked different. Not unlocked, just the position of the deadbolt thumb turn seemed slightly off from how I left it. I wrote it off. Small apartment, small details, brain playing tricks. Then one afternoon I was on a work call. Camera on, headphones in. Pretty focused. My desk faces the wall, back toward the hallway. My colleague on the call said, "Hey, is someone there with you?" I said no and asked what he meant. He said he'd seen something move behind me. I turned around. The hallway was empty. My bedroom door, which I keep open during the day, was now halfway shut. I ended the call. I stood in the kitchen for a second just staring at that half-open door. Told myself the AC draft had moved it. I actually opened every door in the apartment and watched to see if the draft moved any of them. None of them moved. I checked under the bed, the closets, the bathroom. Nothing. I called my girlfriend. She told me to call the building manager. I felt embarrassed, but I did it. The building manager, a guy named Steve, came up and we talked. I mentioned the deadbolt looking different a few times. He got quiet. Then he told me something I wasn't expecting. He said that 3 months ago, when the previous tenant in my unit had moved out, they were supposed to return all copies of the key. But according to his records, 1 copy was never returned. He'd meant to get the locks rekeyed and just hadn't gotten around to it. He didn't know where that key was. Didn't know who had it. Steve rekeyed the lock that same evening. We never got any explanation for what my colleague saw on that video call, or for the deadbolt, or for the bedroom door. A few weeks later, Patricia across the hall moved out. Very suddenly. Left most of her furniture. Nobody in the building saw her go. I'm probably reading into that. Probably. Some people come home and realize they were never really alone. In this video, 3 people share what happened when they were home alone and something wasn't right. A sliding door that shouldn't have been touched. A voicemail recorded from just outside the front door. And a key that was never supposed to exist. These are real experiences shared by real people, and every single one of them changed how they live their life. Watch until the end. A sliding door that shouldn't have been touched. A voicemail recorded from just outside the front door. And a key that was never supposed to exist. These are real experiences shared by real people, and every single one of them changed how they live their life. Watch until the end. Story 3 is the one that will stay with you. Have you ever felt like someone was in your home when you were alone? Tell me in the comments.